Right.
Okay,
If you can't guarantee
I love how chatty you all are this morning. I just started recording. It was recording already, so I can't wait to go hear back what the discussion was about.
Oh.
But I just started a new one. This is the 12 o'clock noon Zoom call. So I'm so excited that so many of you could pop on. And I'm going to run through real quick all the notes all morning. I just got a platinum call with Danielle. If you have dogs barking in the background or any kind of background noise, just hit mute.
Sorry, that's me.
Oh, you're totally fine. Okay. And just because it's a recording, I'm going to go through some quick things really quick, and then I would love to open it up because I want to hear from you all. And I love seeing so many faces on this morning. But first of all, I had to give some quick kudos. I was just sorting reports really quickly. And from this group, first of all, Trunk Show Pipeline, which we're going to talk about today. That's probably our major area of focus. Victoria 13, Leah 7, Liz, Jackson 5, Lori 5. That's all incredible. And a ton of you have 4, like a ton of the girls in this group, which makes me so happy because like that's the number we're shooting for each month. And so many of you have your 4 shows in the books. Sponsoring already, by the way, it's the 12th. Christine has 4, Cheryl has 3, Jess has 3, Lori has 2, and then a bunch of you have 1. And then we already have a promotion with Lauren, who's on the call.
I know. Yay, finally.
And that is just the first step on a quick track up the leadership ranks. So we are thrilled for you.
Thank you.
So I was so excited to see that. And I just got off a platinum call with Danielle, and it was so interesting because she said we are up, it's something like 25% over forecast for sponsoring already this month. So everybody is sponsoring their little booty off, which she's really, really excited about. We think it's a combination of this ease and simplicity of training, having this awesome new stylist page, having Jacinta at our resources, but also the simplicity of having a 2-decision system that is going to stay around for the next couple of months. And FYI, if we sponsor enough people and they get off to a strong start, this is something we could potentially see sticking around for good. But if we don't, it's gone at the end of March. So we need to make sure we really take advantage of this this sign-on special and help get those girls qualified and quick start qualified pretty quickly so that they want to keep, because it's a lot of money out of home office's budget. But if it's worth it, if we see a rapid rate of growth with it, then they're going to keep it. So just know that they are analyzing the heck out of the numbers between now and March 31st. So we have to do our part as the Mavens to keep that number going really, really, really strong. And
Kelly.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. Quick question. Do you know if they're seeing more numbers too with these new girls signing on new girls? Because I feel like I've seen a lot more of the new stylists that we brought on in January and February signing up like new people.
Absolutely. So that is definitely up, and we're going to focus on that today too, because we all had a lot of people sign on in January that our now focus is we have till the end of this month to get a lot of those girls to associate. That's going to be our major goal. So we're going to talk about that today and how we can do that and ensure that nobody's slipping through the cracks. Because I know I personally went and sorted by my personal generation for people in Jumpstart, and one person has sales. So that is it's really easy for people to slip through the cracks, especially if you've got a new person on your team sponsoring. You might not necessarily know how to get them launched quickly. So we're going to definitely talk about that as well. But that's the one thing Cindy Rodhamel was sorting her reports by, and she's like, I noticed that there's a small group of people who have a lot of shows and then a lot of new stylists who don't have any shows. So I think all of us as leaders helping to make sure that as our personal generation grows, and that means anyone under you who's not under another star, making sure that they're getting launched within the first couple of weeks, making sure that they are having help with the invite process to drive attendance there. I was talking to a stylist on my team this morning who sponsored, and she's like, well, she really wanted to do an online business, and she's not opposed to doing in person, but I told her, let's go ahead and start online. And I'm like, if she's not opposed to doing in person, that's what we need to do in conjunction with the online. So just helping your new stylist raise the bar a little bit and make sure, it seems perfectly normal to get your girls over in the first 2 weeks of the business and wipe off your kitchen table, and it's a fun day of dress up. So we're going to talk about that as well too. And Liz asked that we do a call today. One of the breakout calls is going to be on not only launching your new stylist strong, but helping her get independent quickly, which I think is going to be a really fun call where we're going to kind of do a deep dive into what to do throughout Jumpstart to really help get your stylist launched, but also someone independent and self-sufficient, which I think we all want to happen. Okay, so that's kind of the major thing. Some quick things to have on your radar for today. 2 big corporate calls that we want to drive our teams to. One at 1:00 is Danielle's call, and it's all about booking. So it's basically booking school versus the sponsoring school that we had last week. So if Team Pipeline is kind of on your focus today, and it really should be for all of us, that's probably the one thing that is looking a little low right now. Is getting them onto the Sell and Crushing It page so that they can get all those great words to say and inspiration directly from Danielle's mouth. So that's definitely something you're going to want to tag your team in and drive them to that at 1:00 today. And of course, they can go back and watch it later if they're not there. But I would tag them directly in that post so that they get to the Crushing It page. The second thing is tonight and every Tuesday night now at 8:00, Stella and Dot Corporate is doing a Meet Stella and Dot. So while we have our great access to our personal Southern Charms on Mondays at 9, on every day and that's on the Stella and Dot Corporate page. So 2 different pages. One, because obviously we don't want that, they're not going to be, the potentials aren't going to be on the Crush It page. So on the Crush It page, which is corporate, that's going to be 1:00 every, different training topic at 1:00 every Tuesday, but every Tuesday at 8:00 on the Sell and Dot, like general sales page on Facebook, you are going to be able to drive your potentials there as well. And they're going to get to hear directly from Jessica. So that's what we kind of want to get spread out to our teams today. So a lot of good. Yesterday was a lot of team focus training. Today, we want to kind of get them into the habit of having those great corporate resources for us as well. So that's kind of my major focus. One thing I'm also doing today is I think that everyone in this group knows that GLAM is super achievable, and every single Maven, I want to have 100% achieving GLAM rate, because honestly, you guys, it's so easy. It really is. There's never going to be a trip as easy to earn. And I don't think we've necessarily gotten that message out to our team and to our hobbyists. And I have found my hobbyists really aren't getting on my Facebook page. They're not really getting on Southern Charms. They're not really getting on my personal Gen page. So what I've been doing to communicate with my personal Gen lately is filming a quick little video and sending it to them through a text. So I really feel like the chance of someone getting a video text from you dramatically increases the chance they're going to watch it versus doing a Facebook Live. And I think it's just so much more personal than just a worded text. So that's kind of my go-to method right now when I want to share something exciting with my personal generation. And so today's message is all going to be about GLAM and how achievable it is, and how I've had like 3 shows and sponsored a couple of new stylists, and I'm already about to hit level 4. Like it is super, super achievable. And I don't think hobbyists probably even looked at the levels because it's always been so tough to achieve that they just are writing it off without even looking at it. So I think a message out to your team, letting them know that this is for everybody. Like Sell and Dots, the reason they made it so easy this year is because they want a boatload of people to earn it. That's the goal. They have a big budget to take us all to GLAM, take us all to Mexico. So I think getting that message out to them is super, super important. And driving them to things like the booking call today. So if you all filmed a personal little message and texted it out to everyone on your team today, I would include what's happening corporate-wise with the Meet Stella and Dot tonight. If you have any new stylists, a major point of focus is helping them bring along that buddy, helping them, if they haven't gotten launched yet, launch this month, and then launch a friend within the same month. Like super easy, super doable. A lot of it is your language too. So one thing we're going to work on the new stylist launching today is calm. Like new stylists are so nervous. They've got butterflies. It is staying calm and make it seem easy and fun, and then lots of kudos. Like that is what you want your new stylist to feel, is like calm, centered. This is not a big deal, but it's super fun and I'm really good at it. Like that's kind of our overall message we're going to talk about today on a deep dive with new stylists. Okay, so but overall, like seriously, you guys, this group is kicking some serious booty. I love seeing, I don't know if you've seen a major increase in your personal business or in your personal momentum after a month of kind of putting in this consistent effort. But I definitely feel like things are starting to snowball. And I will tell you, one thing, and I said this in the email today, is if you have the potential to get on these calls, this is where it's at. These Tuesday topics, the big groups, the small groups, all throughout the day Tuesday. If you have a flexible work schedule, I would block off as much time as you can on Tuesdays and get on them. Because while the Facebook thread is great and the Marco Polos are great, this is where you're going to grow the most in your business, and you have access to people who are really good at certain things. So you have access to people, like a Charlotte, who is, so good at going out and having a consistent schedule and booking her shows and sponsoring her new stylist. And so to have that access and to be able to ask them questions and to say, well, what are you doing about this? Or Liz, what words are you using about that? Like, don't underestimate the power of that. Because just reading the Facebook threads and the Marco Polos probably isn't going to do all that much for your business. It's getting on here for this. I absolutely know that a lot of you work full time and that's impossible to do. And hopefully those Monday night calls are going to be convenient for you to hop on live. But then Tuesdays you can do the recording. But I do really feel very strongly that those who are getting on these calls as much as possible are the ones that are going to see the biggest shift in their business. Only because when you're sitting here strategizing with other people about it, you're going to raise your game. It's just impossible not to when you're thinking about it. Okay, so those are kind of like the to-dos, and I do have a fun challenge for you that I'm going to touch at the end, but I would love to hear from you. So you guys unmute yourself and tell me what's going on. Tell me what's happening with your business, what you would love to see. I would love to hear from you what calls you would like to hear each week. Did everyone see, I think I posted it, but I remember thinking it, and I was going to tell you all today. On the 2:00 call today, it's open Q&A, and I wanted to make this a regular thing that one call every Tuesday you can invite people from your team to. And I don't want it to be like mass Southern Charms getting on, but like you guys pick and choose, like if you have a new stylist, for example, or a couple new stylists, or if you have that next go-getter in your team that if she had access to a group like this could be really good. That might be someone you want to invite onto that. So then you have, some kind of bigger coaching availability for those people that you really want to work with. So I want to hear from you. What's happening? What are you feeling right now from your team? What's going on? Yeah, Rhonda, go for it.
So, I signed on 2 new stylists, and one's in Florida by herself, and she's really been freaking out. Liz, you were really helpful last night with saying some things to her. She is so stressed out. I think after the call last night, she's finally calming down. But also what I'm realizing too is that I'm spending a lot of time coaching her. I'm going through Dottie. I'm going through what ifs and scenarios, and we're kind of learning together because, I'm still fairly new, and I'm only able to really jump in here since I'm out of school now. I've got a lot of time. So, and I've got another potential stylist too to sign on. So here I am. I don't even feel, Kelly, and that's why we're meeting tomorrow, but I feel sort of like I can't answer their questions, and if I get 3 people under me and I really want them to hit their quick start, and I want to support them as best that I can, but I find that I'm spending a lot of time, like all of my time. So I'm not able to book my shows. I've got a really big show coming up on the 24th for a fundraiser, but I think I can get a lot of sales in that show at Wild Ginger. So that's what's going on with me, but I feel a little, time management, and not to I've been on the phone for 2 hours with her. Now I got to run and pick up Ava, that kind of thing, because I've never done that before. So I just want to know what's best for maybe how I think the calls are what you're going to tell me to do, to get her on the calls on Monday night, which definitely helped her, which was really great. And to the best I can support her and my teams for hitting quick start and jump start.
Yeah, and I think Linda's a rare example. I don't think you're not going to have every stylist need as much hand-holding as she does. But I think the key, and this is something I've done a lot from the beginning, and I've noticed when I have leaders who are very reactive to everything their stylist texts them, stylists learn I don't have to take the time to go and find it myself. I can just ask my upline. It's much faster than getting online and logging into the stylist lounge and searching for the topic. So you want to teach her to fish. So instead of fishing for her and handing her everything on a silver platter, of course, Jumpstart, you're going to be answering lots of questions and you're going to be walking her through things. But for the most part, you want to show her where to look. So for example, if she's wondering how to, she's getting a lot of no's for booking trunk shows, be like, you know what, there's actually a great video on Mimi. If you're here, pull Mimi out real quick, go to the video section. That video is awesome on that. And show her how to help herself. And I think reminding stylists too that everybody is independent business owners, and that sometimes we have to sit down and kind of Google and figure out how to do things like that.
Right. Okay.
Rhonda, you're definitely not alone too. That's why I asked for that specific training call, which I think we're going to be able to get into a lot more detail with next little section or whatever. Because I definitely fall into that all the time. Kelly knows I am like the Insta helper to everyone, and I love it because that's like what I enjoy, right? That's what fills my cup. But I need to make sure that I'm actually doing my job on top of it, because I can really easily fall into I want to help everyone else, and then I end up like naked and alone on the side of the road.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, until you're a director level, your personal business is your top priority. All of us, we always all have to have strong personal business, but when you're a star, you're about 80% of your time is booking and sponsoring, and about 20% of your time is coaching. So, and again, Linda's a very rare example because I was on a call with her too, and you saw it took us an hour and a half to help her do an Evite. Like she's just she's a rare example. So I don't want you to think
Amy, you on here? Sounds like Amy and Michelle's girl.
She's calming down. I think it's because she's in Florida, she's alone, and she's got.
And that's why I wanted to say the calm thing, because so much of she's going to feed off your energy. So if you panic, she's going to panic. Half of our job as coaches are to be, this is easy, this is fun,
Yeah, and I do. I tell her. And I think that call last night really helped because she seemed much more calm. We went through, like I was a pretend customer. We went everything through Dottie. I showed her the 50% off. I told her about Style Club and how to get to, if someone wants Style Club. And so she's like, oh yeah, this is really easy. This is great. So she definitely seems more calm. So
we'll try to, if you can today, try to hop on both the new stylist call and then invite her to the 2:00 call, and we can kind of go deeper on that with her and help her get super.
Is it on the same link, Kelly?
Yeah, the same link is all day for Tuesday topic.
Yeah, just stay right here.
Perfect.
Rhonda, I think another thing that can be really helpful, because I heard you say like it's taking up so much of your time to train her and coach her that you're not able to do your own bookings. I think the other really important piece to remember, and like this has been a big game changer for me, is that the only difference between a stylist and a leader is like a stylist is like over here in their own silo, setting a goal, working towards it. They're booking their shows, maybe sponsoring, maybe not. The only difference between a stylist and a leader is that a leader shares what they're doing and just says, hey, here's my goal. Here's what I'm doing to get there. Who wants to do it with me? So maybe one thing you could also do is just like sharing with her exactly what you're doing, and so that you can train her alongside you. It's like the idea of if you were going to teach your kids or whoever how to make chocolate chip cookies, you wouldn't be like, okay, let me like explain to you how to make chocolate chip cookies, and then like explain the whole thing and be like, wait, but now I need to make chocolate chip cookies. You'd be like, okay, let's just like make the cookies together, and it's so much more efficient, and it's going to like solve so many headaches for you.
Thank you. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
Really good advice. Good. I love that. Okay, perfect. So now, what other topics would you all love to see? Like, what are you, as you're growing your team, because a lot of you are really just starting to kind of grow for the first time, how do you guys feel about the consistency of your personal business? Do you feel like you feel momentum coming on? Do you feel like you have enough accountability in this group to take actions? Like, again, like this is not a situation where I'm going to follow up behind people and check your numbers and check your reports and all that good stuff. But do you feel like you're kind of getting the hang of just with this idea of 4 and 2, like 4 trunk shows a month, 4 pop-ups a month? Do you feel like that's making you raise your bar? I know personally, I just had a huge show on the 8th, and it was like, I'd had like $1,000 in outside orders because of pushing so hard for the first 5 days for double points. And then I had a $2,200 show, which is great. I could easily sit back and just coast. And I'm not saying that in a way of any other than normally I would be like, okay, I'm just going to focus on coaching and sponsoring, and I'll just book my shows for March. I'm going to enjoy like a nice cold tucked in winter. But because I'm in this group, I'm like, nope, can't do it. I've got to book pop-ups. I've got to layer in another couple of shows. It's making me raise my game because it would be super easy to coast. But I know if I'm not out there, I didn't sponsor or book at my Friday show. So great sales. I was in Williamsburg. I was determined to sponsor and book, and it was a big 0. Like no one even remotely interested. So I need to get out there and get in front of people. Do you feel like having this bar that we have to hit every month is making you kind of raise your game a little?
Absolutely. 1,000%. I know for me it is. I don't know. I don't want to be the only one talking, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think we're up here, Aaron and I in Connecticut, and I think a lot of people have sort of the winter blues right now. We actually have a snow day today, so all the kids are home. But I feel I'm getting a lot of, oh yeah, in the spring, everybody wants the spring, so February has kind of been, I think, people just, have had a couple of shows. I've obviously been helping my first stylist get kickstarted. But just a lot of, I think in the springtime. And so I think that's kind of where I'm, struggle a little bit. I don't know if anyone else is getting that. So that booking call that's coming up would be great, just to hop on, because you go back and forth a bunch of times. Well, great, that's spring. Let's get it on the books. If you want to do it sooner, trying to push, different things. But that's where I am.
I love that, Lauren. And it's so funny because it's exactly what Allison Fuller just brought that up on the Platinum call, because she said, areas that normally don't get snow all of a sudden have snow. Like Amelia Field, Seattle is snowed in. And she's like, they never get snow in Seattle, which is weird to me. I would think that would get a ton of snow, but apparently they don't. But anyway, so a lot of people are experiencing that right now. And Danielle was like, so this would be a fun way to kind of reach out to your teams and get creative. One of the ladies was talking about someone on their team who fell at the end of December and broke a bunch of bones, and she's been stuck in bed, and she's sold something insane, $25,000. So figuring out, help your team, those who do have snow coming in or things like that where they're getting a lot of no's, help them get creative in booking some more online shows, helping them do a lot of personal style sessions, helping them get out and do some pop-ups. I know for me, when I'm getting no's to shows, I'm more likely, the 3 people I sponsored at the end of January, beginning of February, were all 3 from pop-ups, complete strangers.
Okay. Wow.
That said a lot to me. Okay, I've got to get out. And like I said, a room full of 20 adorable girls in Williamsburg all totally shut me down. So I would have not had sponsored if I hadn't done those pop-ups. So
and I'm really dependent during the week. I'm sort of in, I was sick. I was pretty sick for 2 weeks, but I'm in the height of hockey season. So I'm in a rink every night. My weekends, I'm literally not in the state for next couple of weekends. So the online shows during the week is kind of where, during this time I'm trying to get something going.
I love it. And think about, okay, so that's a great thing outside the box. You're sitting there with a bunch of very cold hockey moms for an hour a night probably, right? What could you do there? What could you do? Could you have a fun portfolio and be like, oh my gosh, you guys, check out all this stuff. Or I'm picking out my samples, help me pick out my favorites.
I wear everything from head to toe. So I did sell a pair of earrings the other night right on the bench. She's like, well, when can I order? I took out my phone. I said, right now, so I've been a little dependent on outside orders, but.
Oh yeah, the camo crush it bag. Every mom on the team should have that. Be like, when do we make a team bag? But I do think it's us getting out there and getting in front of as many people as we can, whether it's online or in person. I think that's the key, because that momentum that you're going to get from getting in front of people this month is going to then lead to those marked shows. And also, when people say maybe in the spring, go ahead and nail down their date. And this is what I typically say, because I've got, I think a March, an April, and a May show, which is, I never try to book that far out, but the May girl would not budge on a month earlier. So I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the system. And that way, if you shop in the meantime, or anyone wants anything in the meantime, they can shop on your show and you'll start accruing rewards right now. So that helps kind of lock down that date. So even if you are getting a no now, go ahead and secure that date. Be like, you know what, why don't we do it the week before spring break? Or why don't we do it the week before blah, blah, blah. And kind of get that in the system, because you'll be so glad that those are there when they come. But in the meantime, you'll figure out, like you said, because you have to do the 4 this month, you're like, okay, so I'm not getting those. So I need to go to my nail salon. I need to go set up, I'm going to go try to set up at our local nail salon. And she actually told me I could come in on Valentine's Day. So if you have availability on Valentine's Day, see if you can find a local shop where people are out getting any kind of beauty treatments, and get out in front of people that way, to kind of getting creative.
I think the other thing that can help seal the deal now is February is actually a really fun month with so many of those weird holidays. The 18th is National Drink Wine Day. I think the 22nd is National Margarita Day. I think there's National No Brainer Day or something. Using some of those fun things and margarita. I'm pretty sure National Margarita Day is a Friday night. That would be really fun. And no matter when you're reaching out, we're always gonna hear in the spring, in the summer, in the fall. I think the other piece of it is just I totally get what you're saying, because it feels like that really can bog you down, and you're like, why in the spring? Don't you want stuff now? But I think the other piece of it is just keep going, because think about how much momentum you're now building for your spring, which is going to be the bomb. And then in the meantime, like just keep running your list, or if you need more people to add to your list, like then it's those pop-ups, and like it's all going to pay off in the long run. I think another piece of like this high level pacing group is, yes, we have like these monthly goals, but we're also like, we have like a long-term play where, you know, you don't want to get too bogged down about like 1 month to where you lose sight of the like long term.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything that you're doing now. I mean, my January was like awful. I didn't have any trunk shows that qualified. I could not book a show to save my life. Like it was a terrible January for like my personal standards. But I booked all my February shows in January. Like I couldn't book a January show to save my life, but like now I have 3 shows this week, and that's awesome. So the momentum's just going to keep continuing to build. So I feel like I've like gotten some perspective where in the past I would have been like freaking out about January, but I was like, you know what? Like it's fine because like it's just 1 month. So I don't know if that's
I totally agree. Momentum is everything. And I think one objection I'm saying to people who say maybe in the spring, we could say, I am throwing out there one objection saying, well, we could do spring, but actually people have such cabin fever right now. They are dying to get out for a glass of wine. And they're like, oh yeah, that's true. I'm like, they have nothing.
I like that.
Everyone's schedule is like empty this time of year. So I think sometimes just kind of overcoming their objection will be more likely to lead to a yes too. But follow Jenny's. Jenny had those really great, it's kind of going viral all over the country now, but her 5 steps. And she really fully admitted on a call this morning, she's like, she's like, I was reaching out enough, but I wasn't really running the system and running the numbers. And so she has some really great steps and words to say. So, you know, kind of figure out too, if you're truly running the numbers, because I know it's easy for all of us to kind of just get comfortable with what we've got versus like, are we truly running the numbers with who we could reach out to? And one of our calls today is going to be on sponsoring and on how to get that fresh list. A lot of us have plowed through like everyone that was kind of on our radar. So how do we kind of start from scratch now and get a new list going? So that's going to be on a Zoom call today too. Hey, Eileen, how are you?
Hey, good.
Eileen's new to Maven. Say welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, Eileen she's about to sponsor her second person, but Liz Bean is also a star in her downline. So she's got an awesome business. She's always a strong, consistent seller, and we're thrilled to have you, Eileen.
Oh, thank you.
All right, guys, so the 12:30, the first call slot is done. I'm going to stop it so we can re-record, but we are going to pop right into that new stylist call next. How to launch her new style strong, help her get to associate, how to help her become independent so that she doesn't think of you as her go-to rather than logging into the Stylist Lounge. So let's pop back on, and I'll make sure I share this recording at the end of the day after all our calls are done. And if anyone did hit their January goals, let me know so we can schedule your private one-on-one deep dive call. All right, guys. See you in a second. See you at 12:30.